up, podcast party people? Rob Flynn, your host of the No Fucking Regrets podcast. I'm excited. I'm excited. You know why? Because this is my first official interview podcast segment that I'm going to do with you on the No Fucking Regrets podcast. Brought to you by the amazing and always awesome Nuclear Blast Records, the premier metal label of the universe right now. Absolutely killing it. This is also brought to you by the Gas Digital Network. Shout out to Ralph for having an unbelievable amount of patience while I got my shit together to get this podcast up and running, because it took me a really long time to get my shit together for the podcast. Well, that was a pretty abrupt dropout on the music there. I didn't fade it very good. That's right. I finally got my shit together, and I got some interviews coming your way, and I'm pretty excited about this one. This is an older interview that I did. In fact, I started doing, so this is how I roll. I get, as a typical lazy artist that I am, I got excited about doing a podcast. Josta got me all excited. Josta, the podcast that the Gas Digital Network also does, the Josta Show, which is great. I love that podcast. One of my favorite podcasts, Josta. I will straight up tell you that Josta was my mentor in this podcast game here. He's the one who inspired me to do this, got me definitely amped up about it and what can be done. And so the last time I was on his podcast, I met with Ralph, the guy who runs Gas Digital, and he got me even more excited about it. And so, but this was actually, Josta was about, actually the first time I was on the Josta podcast, he was telling me, he's like, dude, your voice is killer. You need to do a podcast. And I was like, I don't know. I got a lot of, pokers in the fire. I don't know if I need to do this, but he got me excited about it. So then I dove all in, as I do. Sometimes I just get excited about something and I dive all in. And then I went and I did a bunch of interviews. So I did an interview with Lars Frederiksen from Rancid. I did an interview with Sworn Enemy guys. I did an interview with Craig LaCicero and Schmear from Destruction. I did an interview with Kayla Dixon from Craig's band Dress the Dead. And then I got lazy and totally uninspired, and then I stopped. So this interview with Lars was actually done over a year ago, or almost a year ago. I think it might have been about a year ago at this point. I want to say it was December when they were opening for Death Angel. So it could be over a year ago. Yeah, for all you who don't know, Machine Head and Rancid actually were doing shows back in 1993 together. Played the Berkeley Square. It was a legendary show. One of the first shows back at that time that brought metal and punk together. And I gotta say, I've been a long time Rancid fan. Some of my here, I'm gonna tell you. Of course, I gotta play Ruby Soho. This song is this is one of the catchiest goddamn songs I've ever fucking heard. I fucking love this song right here. Love this. Love this shit. I love that it's just out of time, and it's rough, and it's almost in key, but then not really, and it's fucking perfect. But listen to this chorus. Listen to this fucking chorus right here. Ruby, Soho. Right here. That shit right here. So fucking good. Time Bomb's their #1 song on Spotify. Kind of got the fucking ska vibe. But here's the jam. Tell you what, where's the new record? Troublemaker. There's a couple of bangers on this one. All right. This is not the end, though. I think this is the one song. Yes, this is the banger right here. This is from Troublemaker. Shit's like a metal song. I like it. This shit's fucking awesome. Yeah, their latest record, Troublemaker, came out in 2017. So probably about the same time that I did this interview with Lars, because I fucking lagged on getting this up. But yes. And it was backstage at Slim's, but he's an awesome dude. And we didn't really talk about anything in particular, so I've listened back to it. It's pretty much a timeless interview. It was more about his life and growing up and kind of discovering music and, you know, his path in life and why he chose to go into a punk rock band at, I think, 13, if my memory serves me correct. And it was a fun interview. He's a great dude, such a gigantic character, funny. And, you know, we had a lot of cool stuff that we talked about. We talked about Motorhead. We talked about, you know, him and Lemmy had a great long relationship. Kind of talked about him getting into the skateboarding scene. And it was a really good interview. And so finally, here it is. After all this time, a million years later, here is the interview I did with Lars Frederiksen from Rancid. Hey, how's it going?
It's good.
How are you?
You come here often?
I do come here often.
Well,
I'm fucking here a lot.
Are you here a lot? I haven't been here in a long. I think the last time I was here was when GBH played.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
GBH, leather bristle studs and acne.
Yep. Grievous bodily harm.
Yeah, they do some shit like that.
They did some shit like that.
They got a new record out or something?
They got a new record out. It's called. Oh shit! What's it called? Motor or something. No. Fuck. It has a motorcycle on the cover. What the fuck? Momentum.
Okay.
I believe that's right. Momentum.
Nice.
Yes.
Let's check that out.
So are you going to tell people who you are, or do they need to know who I am, or are we
I'm getting there. I'm just, you know, I just start talking.
Yeah, I guess
I'm not even trying to get all like.
You're picking me
up.
And
here we are with Lars Frederiksen in my NPR voice.
Well, you had the NPR glasses on for a second,
because I can't see shit without the NPR glasses.
And I could tell because you're struggling.
I can't see anything.
That's cool though, Rob. We're all getting
you know
older.
what?
Yeah,
my fucking eyesight used to be straight up 20/20.
Fair enough.
Banging.
No, listen, bro. Like when I read, sometimes I got to hold the motherfucker back. Now it's a bum out.
Yeah,
you know,
like I need a selfie stick to see my phone.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, you don't do the glasses yet?
No, not yet. I'm fighting it.
Do you have the giant font on your
No,
phone?
I do not. No. That's one thing I'm happy to say. I haven't gone there yet. Like I'm fighting it though. Like I'm gonna be there pretty soon, but that's neither here nor there.
You'll get some cool Oi style glasses or something.
Yeah, like a Roy Pierce.
Yeah.
I'll take out one eye. You know what I mean? I'll look tough. I have like an eye patch and shit. I'll look fucking more pirate than you, bro. You know what I mean? So you're Rob Flynn.
I am. Thanks for being on No Fucking Regrets. I appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure. We've known each other a long time, me and you.
We have.
Like over 20 years.
Yeah.
You realize that?
Was it 93?
I believe it was 93.
93.
But I'd seen you perform in other bands.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Did we meet then? I don't think I knew you.
I don't know. I don't think we met. No.
I remember meeting around like the Berkeley Square.
Yeah, that was when I think that was the first major real introduction. Yes. So that was 24 years ago.
Right.
So think about that.
You
were starting Machine Head. Rancid was pretty much starting.
Yeah.
So because you're coming up in 25 years, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so are we. So
I was going to see Rancid at your place too.
Yep.
When they were a 3-piece and all that.
And then I came and ruined it. Like one more guy to fucking feed. Oh, great. $5 a day for that dick.
It was great. It was a great vibe.
Yeah, no. I'm stoked.
That was what, second record you joined?
No, I joined when they were making the first record.
Okay.
They actually said, "Do you want to come and make the first record with us?" And I was like, "You know what? Thank you, but let me earn my way." You know, because that's kind of the person.
Oh shit! So you didn't play on the record?
No.
Okay.
But I basically, while they were recording the record, I was in the band.
Okay.
I had played shows.
And you were in the studio? And
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Trippy.
No, I wanted to earn my keep because that's the way I am. You know what I mean? I want to earn what I have.
Is music about rebellion for you?
Well, yes, I think so. I think at the core of it is.
When you were first starting out, was it something that you were rebelling like against your parents or against?
No, honestly, when I wanted to do it is because I wanted to get out of where I was at. And I figured the only way that I'm going to get out of this without, like, cause where I grew up, it wasn't like, I grew up like low income housing, right? So my choices were very, there weren't a lot of options. I went to juvenile hall for the first time when I was like 11.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So like,
where'd you grow up?
In Campbell, California.
Okay.
About 60 miles south of here. We're in San Francisco, by the way. And so I didn't have many options. And a lot of my friends were either going that route or joining the army. I had like 3 or 4 friends who joined the army. Because, you know, they were all punk rockers or skinheads or whatever it was, you know, so like everybody didn't really have that much, you know. So the options, there wasn't a lot of choices. There was no college education in my future.
Yeah.
I just knew that. Yeah. You know? So music was kind of my escape, you know, at first. But then I thought maybe if I do this, I can get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
And you had brothers did any of your brothers play music?
No, my older brother was fully into music, and like any kind of music that I ever heard was through him. So first time I heard Kiss, my brother, AC/DC, my brother, punk rock, my brother, the Ramones, my brother, Metallica, my brother, Death Angel, my brother.
That's crazy.
I mean, because he used to go to all those shows. He was, you know, go to Ruthie's and see those bands. He didn't care. So he got into the skinhead thing at first, and that was probably 79, 80. And then about 82, 83, when a lot of the thrash stuff started to happen, he would come up to Ruthie's, and he knew about Metallica before anybody else. He would go and see them. Yeah. You know, he knew about Exodus and all the thrash shit.
So he turned you on to a bunch of thrash.
Yeah.
And somehow you ended up a punk rocker.
Yeah, because I hated you fucking long hairs. You guys are fucking dicks, bro. you know, it's. But
was he a lot older than you? Like, were you kind of the runt coming to the show?
Well,
dudes were fucking with you or something.
Well, you know, I mean, he took me to go see like Death Angel.
Okay.
You know, he took me to go see Metallica. He took me to see so many different bands, Exodus, those types of bands. And
that's rad.
But he also took me to go see GBH, The Exploited, Black Flag. You know, he just loved music. You know, I mean, that was his trip. Me, I was a little bit more territorial, a little bit more tribal. You know, if it wasn't fucking Doc Martens and spiky hair or shaved heads, I wasn't really feeling it.
Do you think that was a way to kind of define yourself away from your brother?
No, because we were both. I mean, the one thing that I always sort of, you know, what we always had in common is how we grew up. You know, the music was very important to us in our house because that's all we really had to communicate in a lot of ways. Like our records, my dad was out of the picture by the time I was like 3, right? Okay. So he was 6 or 7 at the time. No, he would have been 7 or 8. So
just your mom raising you?
Just my mom, who was a Danish immigrant.
I remember you were telling me that at my birthday bash that your dad, we both had pretty gnarly dads.
Yes. My dad was pretty gnarly. Yeah. Yeah. He used to.
What was his deal?
He basically grew up in Albany. He was born in Albany, California.
Okay.
And his mother made him a ward of the state when he was 4 years old. So he basically grew up in CYA, which is California Youth Authority, and juvenile halls when they couldn't find houses to place him in. And so when he was so he basically didn't see his mother for till the time he was 17. And at the time, my grandmother had married for the 4th time and lived in Virginia because my grandfather was in the Navy. So the counselor guy at this house, when my dad was about 17, got an address from my grandmother, gave him like $300-400. My dad bought a motorcycle and drove from Portland, Oregon to Virginia, where my grandfather was stationed, and he was there for 2 weeks, and then they signed him up for the Navy, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think for him, like, if I was his psychologist, I would say he'd probably had abandonment issues. Yeah. So, and he was the best father he could be.
Yeah.
I mean, you only taught the skills. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And then it was such a different time back then. You know, dude, I sit there, you're like, the story you're telling me is literally a mirror of my dad's, right? You know, like taken away at birth, reunited with his family, and became a ward of the state, right? Reunited with his family when he was 4 years old. And then they just lived in trailer parks and, like San Lorenzo, ghetto, trailer park, not even a fucking toilet in the thing. They had to shit in a bucket and carry it like,
fair enough, bro.
3/4 of a block down and dump it in the, it's such a different time.
Yeah.
But those things affect, us. And
my dad.
So I guess, if he left at 3, you probably didn't really have that much interaction with him.
Well, I did, because he was somewhat in and out of, he was someone in and out of my life. He would show up, but the one vivid memory I remember is he basically shot the woman and her boyfriend that he was cheating on my mom with, when he caught the woman that he was cheating on my mom with cheating on him. So he had a little Beretta and he emptied the gun through the door.
Holy shit.
And he got a year in Elmwood Correctional Facility. But after he did the crime, he came to our house.
How old are you then?
I was 7, 6. Wow. And
you remember that?
Oh fuck yeah! Because what happened was it's like 9 o'clock at night, 7:30, somewhere around there. Because me and my brother were about to go to bed. My mom, there's a knock on the door. My mom opens up the sliding glass door. It's my dad. We're like stoked. Dad! He's got a bottle of wine in a paper bag. And he's pale as a ghost. And he looks at me and my brother and says, "Go to your guys' room, please." And we're just excited to see him, because we hadn't seen him in a while. Right. My mom's like shook, and I can kind of see that. And so he basically brought over the gun that he shot the lady and her boyfriend with in a paper bag, and told my mom to hide it. So my mom hid the gun. And so he was going to hide out at the house. And my mom's like, "Look, Bob, your kids are here." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they shut down the San Jose. My dad at the time was a flight instructor, right? So they shut down the San Jose airport because they thought he was going to get it in one, because he would teach people on these Cessnas, right?
Yeah.
And so they shut it down. And so the next day, the airport shut down.
And you don't know any of this, right? Like at the time.
No, but my last name is on the front page of San Jose Mercury News.
Oh shit.
Basically saying, the fucking, the
flight instructor.
Yeah. Just this whole, and so it's like our name is like right there on the fucking cover.
Oh my!
Because he was basically, she was like.
So wait, he was cheating
on my mom with this lady,
and then she was cheating with another dude.
Yeah,
and he went and shot.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So he found out about it, and then went over to her house and just and knocked on the door. She wouldn't let him in.
Dad, like, what was the rationale there?
No, because my dad, he had this old gold ragtop GTO. I remember it was gold. And we'd be with me and my brother. One of my earliest vivid memories is because he always had the gun with him, and it was always on the passenger side underneath the seat. And he would say, and I would be in the middle here because it was the 70s, no seatbelts.
Right.
So then you had the bench seats. And it would be blasting the Bugle Woogie Boogie Boy from Company B or whatever. The windows rolled down, he'd crank it, and he would do this whole dance. For me, my brother would laugh, but he'd be drinking a Coors, and kind of had like a Casey Watson mustache at the time. Mm-hmm. And he would throw the beer cans out at the stoplights, and he'd go, "Hey, Robert, hand me the gun." And so my brother would reach underneath the seat give my dad the gun, and my dad would throw his beer cans out when we were at the corner of Bud Avenue and Santa Tomas Expressway and shoot them while they were up in the air.
Wow.
He was gnarly dude.
Maniac.
He was a fucking maniac. Yeah. So, I found punk. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
no shit.
Yeah, but you don't really realize it. And as I'm sure you probably understand what I'm saying, you don't really realize how fucked up your existence is until you get away from it.
Yeah.
Or till you get some time and you go, oh, that was fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, you have it's just part of your life.
Part of your
and
deal.
you're just living and you're like, whoa, I guess you just throw cans in the air and shoot them while you're driving. Yeah. I remember my dad with the cores and driving and no seat belts. And that's just like what you did.
Yeah. It's the 70s, bro.
It was weird putting on a seatbelt for the first time, right? I was like, fuck, this is fucking lame.
Yeah, totally.
I hate this.
No, I totally get it.
Now I'm like so used to wearing a seatbelt that I can't not wear a seatbelt.
Yeah,
like I just feel,
No, I feel it. It's weird. And then now you got the thing on the cars anyways. It tells you that you're not wearing your seatbelt.
That annoying thing.
Like, put the seatbelt on, you dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of what was going on for me at a young age.
Yeah. So then there was definitely no, I mean, your mom, when you started playing punk rock, what did your mom
hated
think?
it, man, because she equated me.
When is this? Like, what time frame is this?
Well,
what's the bands that are happening at this point?
Well, okay. So this is, I mean, when I first listened to the music.
Like Attitude Adjustment?
No. I mean, this is 1980, 1981.
Okay.
That's when I first get exposed, right? So it's like a lot of the English stuff, like GBH, Exploited, Last Resort, Business, Cockney Rejects, Cockspar. And then American stuff, it's Black Flag, Social Distortion, Crucifix. Yep. Some of the Canadian stuff like DOA and Forgotten Rebels. So that's kind of the shit that I'm into at the time. Mostly the English stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot more of the oi thing.
Yeah.
I missed I wasn't around for the Pistols and the Clash.
Yeah.
But the Ramones, of course, the Ramones were the staple.
Yeah. And so you say, do you ever tell your mom? Do you go, I'm going to start a band. I'm going to be in a punk rock band, Mom?
Well, she was always kind of cool with music. Like she didn't, I think partially because she didn't really understand. My mom's a Danish immigrant, right? She grew up during World War II and saw a lot of her family get killed by Nazis, right? Mm-hmm. So she brings that. And then you got my dad, right? So you got those two types. You got fear on both sides. So I don't think my mom really was paying attention too much to us listening to Kiss, AC/DC. And then now we're listening to this punk shit. And I don't think she's understanding what they're singing about. Yeah. And I think partially because there is a language barrier. My mom still has a strong Danish accent at the time. Mm-hmm. And calls us, instead of fucking dick, she calls us fuck dicks. Like she destroys the English language. Like, and we used to tease her, like, Mom, you can't call us fuck dicks. You got to call us fucking dicks, or you bunch of shit wipes. And like, no, Mom. And like one day when I'm retarded,
shit wipes is good.
Yeah. But I
might call my 13-year-old. She said one day.
Yeah, you shit wipe.
You fucking shit. Wipe.
But she said one day when I'm retarded and you guys don't get in my Mom, not retarded when you're retired. Not retarded. You know what I mean? Like my poor mother. I love her. We call her Danish Napoleon because she's like about 4 foot nothing. You know what I mean? Right. She's like as tall as like every member in Agnostic Front. That's what I mean. Awesome. Sorry guys, but they are like literally the shortest band.
Yeah, I know you got that nickname for your mom though. You got to have it.
You got to.
Mine's Gloria 2 times.
See, there you go.
Because she says Robert, everything 2 times. I gotta go to the store. Gloria 2 times.
Fair enough.
Shout out to Gloria 2 times.
And what's up? The Danish Napoleon. Gloria 2 times. I know you guys are listening.
But is she going to the shows? I mean, is she like, you're in a punk rock band? Did she come and support you?
No, you know what? She hated it because she equated me going to juvie that first time with being into punk rock. Okay. Because at the time you had like every talk show was something about my kid turned punk, and then you had Quincy and Chips and doing all those. So, and she was literally worried because the
what did you go to juvie for?
Oh man. So
let's hear this story.
All right. So me and this guy, Mike Newman, who's now dead. Right. And he died about 3 or 4 years after we went to juvie together. We had this girlfriend. He had this girlfriend that lived out like by Oak Ridge Mall, which is like South San Jose, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, look, let's cut school. We got some booze. And I had a little PCP because we were smoking some dust. And we go to the house.
At 13?
No, I'm 11.
At 11?
So
You're
he's
smoking
12.
Dust.
Yeah, bro.
Holy smokes.
So, and it was in oregano. And because that's how they used to lace it. You used to put it in oregano. You smoke the oregano.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, and plus I lived in fucking San Jose. I was fucking capital angel dust.
Yeah,
Angel,
right.
You know, because of Hell's Angels. That's why it's called angel dust, right? So, not to rat anybody out. Go to this girl's house. She's not there. So we break in. Well, as we get more and more drunk, there's a dog in there. And I had the Tidal Wave chewing gum had just come out. It had the liquid center.
Okay.
Remember?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It was like the first gum with the liquid center. It was green apple. This shit was fucking the best. So I put the whole pack in my mouth. I'm high as a motherfucker, right? We've drank all the beer that was in the fridge. Now we're going for the shit. The hard shit. The dog is barking at me. So I fucking took the wad of bubble gum I had out of my mouth and I wrapped the chewing gum around the dog. Because my theory at the time was the dog was going to pull the gum off its fur. So I got busted for cruelty to animals because of that.
Because of gum?
Because I put chewing gum on it was a show-winning dog.
Okay.
It was a show-winning dog.
Must have been a lot of gum.
It was a whole pack, a tidal wave. That's what I'm trying to fucking explain to you.
So you're chewing a whole pack of gum.
Because I
wrapping it around the snout of this dog.
No, just around the fur. And literally the dog was trying to pull the gum off the fur, so it stopped barking at me and cooled my trip. But then anyway, so Mike got a little hairy with me, right? And so basically, and he was a bigger guy.
This is the dude's dog?
No, this is the
girl's
guy.
dog.
This is my partner in crime.
Yeah.
So Mike, he starts getting really weird with me, like touching me in a weird way. Like inappropriately. And so I guess her little brother had that racetrack, you know, that like for Hot Wheels.
Okay.
And I flipped. And but he was a bigger guy than me, you know, and I was scared. So I just beat him up with this racetrack and I took his eyeball out of his head.
Holy shit.
So I got busted for like, I don't know if they call it mayhem or whatever it is, but
it's cruelty to animals and some crazy.
Yeah. But what happened is since when the cops came, because Mike was out in the front yard holding his eye and the neighbor across the street saw, and then there was blood. Anyways, long story short, I got a lot of the charges dismissed except for the cruelty to animals because I did that to a dog.
Yeah.
But I'm not like a psychopath. Like I didn't like do it because I don't like it. I love animals. Like I'm an animal lover. I'm not like, you know.
You're 11. You're high on PCP.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Kind of lost. Maybe.
Yes. And I feel bad at, you know, mostly for my mother at the time because, you know, my poor mother, you know. But whatever. So she equated me being into punk rock with me doing that.
Okay.
But no, it wasn't that at all. It was just me because that's just my bloodline. Like if you look at my bloodline, we're a bunch of fucking maniacs, right? Who do stupid shit unless we like, you know, sort of focus it in some way. I think. I look at my children and that's what I think anyway.
At what point did you? So you were in another band. You must have been in another band prior to joining Rancid.
Yes.
And then Rancid and you became friends, or
yes,
something happened, and at some point you said, "All right, this is what I'm doing. Like I have no plan B. This is what I'm gonna do." Like when was that moment for you?
15 years old. I knew that I was going to do music. I didn't care how I was going to do it. I didn't care who I was going to do it with. I just knew that I was going to do it. I didn't care if I got a job. I didn't care if I lived on the streets. I didn't care what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
I knew that's what I was going to do. So of course I went and got tattoos in places where you couldn't hide them because that was going to force me to do this.
Right.
And so I joined, the first kind of big band I ever joined was the UK Subs, which was a band from England.
Yep.
And I did that. And then I got kicked out because of my drinking and drug use and violence.
This is all before Rancid?
Yes.
You were in the UK Subs?
Yes.
Wow.
So I did that. I got kicked out and then started another band with some homies from home. And we ended up opening up for Rancid
Okay.
at the Gilman Street. And we were the first band on like a 5-band bill.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I met Tim. Although, you know, I'd seen those guys around, you know, I never really
Are you in Oakland now or are you still in
No,
Campbell area?
I'm still living in down South Bay. So I'm a South Bay guy. Like Oakland was a little bit too, and Berkeley were a little bit too PC, too many rules. I wasn't ready for rules.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm a wild man. You know what I mean? I want to take your eyeball out with some racetrack. You know what I mean? So I never really.
Hot Wheels Massacre.
Yeah, exactly. That's the next new Rancid record, the Hot Wheel Massacre. But I just never vibed with a lot of the punks from up there because they seemed like more like hippies to me.
Well, especially at Gilman, it was such a different.
Yeah,
it was
I didn't like maximum rock and roll. I didn't like that scene. I didn't like those people. I thought they were old judgmental hippies, which I later found out they were old judgmental hippies. You know, they always like, you know, talk smack on all the bands I loved.
Yeah,
you know, like
they
Agnostic
never let
Front.
us play there. They banned us from there. And I remember Lint. I call him Lint.
Yeah,
Tim went to bat for us and was like, "No, like let them play." They're like, "Fuck those guys."
right. But you know what I'm saying. But then when I met Tim and Matt and Brett, I was like, oh, that's not me. Maybe I'm wrong about this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved Op Ivy, obviously.
Yep.
You know, and but I just, you know, like until I met those dudes, I didn't realize that there were, you know, I had a judgment, you know, and I thought they were all kind of the same. So
did they ask you to join, or
Yes.
did you ask them to join?
well, so I went to this. We had played the show with them, right? And I went to a gig that was supposed to be UK subs. It was on a Sunday, and they never made it, right? But Brett Reed was there, and so I started talking to Brett Reed because I'd met him at the show that my band at the time played with, Rancid, and I said, you know what's going on with you guys? You know, and he's like, we're looking for another guitar player, and I was like, fuck, take my number. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, like, I think about a week later, Tim called me up, said, hey, you know, what's your address? I'll send you all the stuff. Because he remembered me, because we actually talked a little bit and hit it off.
At that Gilman show?
At the Gilman show. And so, and then he sent me the 7-inch and the demo, and I pretty much, the band I was in were supposed to go down south for a couple shows, and the bass player at the time called me up like the day before we were supposed to leave. Is basically, this is how it went down. Tim called me and said, hey, you know, do you want to check the shit out? Blah, blah, blah. The bass player from the band I was in says, hey, I'm leaving the band, as we were supposed to go down and do these shows in Los Angeles. So all of a sudden my band breaks up, and then I have another opportunity. It's right there in the same day. 2 different phone conversations. So I learned all their shit in a couple of days. I just sat down and, you know, learned their stuff. And then I went up and met with them and played with them.
You went down to LA and played?
No, I went to their rehearsal spot in Oakland. Was at like 24th and like Telegraph or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And got there, took the BART and the bus up there, my guitar, went and jammed with them, and it clicked. I feel like I knew the songs better than they did. And I kind of still, and they'll even tell you I probably know the songs better than they do. But that's a whole other
Did
podcast.
you feel like that? Did you feel that you knew, like, all right, this is what I'm going to do? Or was it just like passing time, or was
no
it
way.
like a...
No, I was heart and soul about playing music from day one. It was like my first love. Like, you know, I think it's like how we have that, how we can relate with our dads and our family and our upbringing. Like, we probably went to the music for the survival.
Yep.
To get through the shit. It was like an instinctual thing. And the next thing you know, we're playing the music and we're going, oh shit, we're getting some sort of, you know, release from it.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, we're doing it, and we're like, and if you're anything like me, you're going, how the fuck did I get to do this for the last 25 years?
Did you ever, was it like that famous Lemmy quote, like, the reason you get into a band is to get laid?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was definitely part of it.
Right.
You know, and
it's definitely, I mean, I had zero game until I was in a band.
Well, you know,
I couldn't get pussy to save my life. Yeah. And then, you know,
Well,
I got in a band and I played shows. I played Ruthie's In, and all of a sudden I had 2 groupies that I was like, "What the fuck?" Like Lemmy's right.
Yeah. Well, Lemmy's always right. You know what I mean? First of all, no, I mean definitely
You can never be wrong.
No, having a guitar was easier than than let's say like having a baseball glove.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, for me, I never really. That wasn't like I enjoyed the perks of those things. Obviously, who wouldn't? But for me, it was always the music. Like I always wanted to be part of something.
Yeah,
and being part of a band and being able to make the music I wanted to make and say what I wanted to say, I think was always so much more important to me than and trumped everything else.
Yeah,
like I lost girlfriends because of bands.
for sure.
I remember I had this cat for like 20 years, right? And she was like the most consistent woman in my life. Like that's the way I put it. Like she lasted to girlfriends, marriage, divorce, bands. She was like, that was like the kind of woman I needed. Was a fucking feline. You know what I mean? That was the most solid. Like I swore like I'd never.
Band, the music was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, I always thought women come and go. The band is forever. The music's forever.
Yeah.
And that's all what I always want to do. And the amount of sacrifices, dude, like how many fucking funerals have you missed? How many marriages have you missed? How many fucking anniversaries have you missed?
How many
birthdays?
like kid moments have you
Dude.
missed? Kids' first steps and all those little
like literally
milestones.
Wolfgang, my oldest, took his first steps the day I was leaving for tour.
You saw it, though.
I saw it.
Yeah.
But
Which
you know
is
what I'm
rad.
saying? But like, but that's the sacrifice. If you want to do this, like really do this, that's what you have to be willing to give up.
Oh, absolutely.
And then
I remember when I was first with Ginevra, and I don't say this anymore, but I was just so fucking focused. And I mean, it was like Machine Head's number 1 and you're number 2. Don't forget it.
Right.
Like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then like now I think that I'm like, God, what a fuck it. Like that's just brutal.
Yeah, I
but
know.
Like I just,
but that's where you're at the time.
Like I don't feel that way now. Like you find that balance somewhere after, 40. Hopefully maybe somewhere around 30, but you know, I guess in my mind, I had to be that fucking brutal about it.
Well, I think you do though. I think that if you really want to succeed, you have to, it's got to be at all costs. And I think that's what a lot of people forget, I mean, maybe it's just my experience and I have that linear vision about what I know what it takes to succeed. But like, I mean, the way I saw it for so long, and there's a lot of truth in this, which was going to be death or this. It was death. It was straight up death or glory for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care at what level I'm doing music at. There's no way that I'm going to fucking not fucking do it.
Yeah.
There's just no way. Like, I don't care who the fuck you are. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you've been? The person that you probably think you are, I probably know him.
Yeah.
Or her. You know what I mean? Like, it's just my wife, I think, but that's the thing. I got a wife who knows how driven and how I am. And that's probably part of the reason why she married me and procreated with me anyway, and she's the same way. So we can kind of meet each other like that. But, I mean, the amount, it's like you don't.
And she's got to be independent from you
100%
too.
100%. You got to have your own shit.
Because you're gone.
Bro,
she's got to be able to fucking hold down the fort.
That's why I'm divorced.
Zero help from you.
Yeah, that's why I'm divorced from the first one, you know, because there's no of her own life.
Yeah.
And you can't have somebody like that in your life. You know what I mean? If you're going to do it. Like, a lot of times I want to kill my wife, but I don't, because I know that if I do, then like my rock is going to be gone.
Yeah.
But because I want to kill her, I know she's my rock.
Yeah.
It's just,
How long? You guys been out together? How long?
We'll be married 11 years.
Yeah. So she knows
12.
she can push your button in a second.
God, fucking does it every morning. 6:45 on the button.
You're like, dude.
You're just like, get off my dick, or actually better, get on my dick, because it's been a while. Because once you have the kids, it's just like, they're like little like cocaine cock blockers. They like, You know what I mean? It's just like they're such cock blockers. It's a bum out.
Let me switch gears on you.
All
here.
right, sorry.
Do you miss Lemmy Kilmister?
Whoa.
Because I know, like, you guys, I don't know how close you were, but I know you were close. Like, I watched Motorhead a few times with you from the side of the stage. Yeah. I know you were hanging out, familiar enough that you guys could go hang for a while backstage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you seem like a kind of a big, maybe not I don't want to say father figure, but like in some way.
No, he was. I mean, that's straight up. He was probably the single-handedly the biggest influence on who I am, how I think, what I do, the way I try to maneuver through life than any human being on the face of planet Earth. And he was my hero. And not only was my hero, but he graciously, I knew he knew, but he always treated me like I was an equal. You know, when your heroes do that for you and they humanize themselves to you, and in retrospect, you look about how they actually humanize themselves to you, it makes you fall in love with them that much more.
Yeah.
Because you really realize that this dude, because the conversations that we had, and a lot of them I'll just keep for myself, but the amount of jokes that were told, the amount of history that was taught, the amount of music that was discussed is endless. We could sit and talk for hours upon hours about jokes,
about
music,
punk rock,
everything,
like old school. Because I know we talked a lot about the old rock and roll.
Yeah, dude, we could talk about anything. He knew everybody and anything. He knew everything and everybody, and he knew so much. Like, we would talk history and he would just drop shit on me and it'd just be like, whoa. And we were both into the same kind of stuff, So, and then the jokes, like he loved a joke.
Yeah.
So, and we would
he always had that.
Yeah.
What's your, do you remember a favorite Lemmy joke?
Yeah.
When did you guys meet?
Oh shit. It would have been 19.
Rancid though.
Yeah.
You were already in Rancid.
1995.
Yeah.
94,
was it
95.
like festivals or?
We played down in Los Angeles and he was down there in his Daisy Dukes.
That's right. He went through that weird Daisy Dukes phase.
Yeah,
right?
He had the Daisy Duke denim vest.
He was rocking like the flipped up hat and the Daisy Dukes. And
he's
like, I just got to LA.
He was all in it. And I went up to him and I said,
this is where?
This is at the Weenie Roast, I think.
Okay. At
K-Rock.
Yeah.
And he's down there and I'm like, yo, Lem. I go, my name's Lars from Frederiksen. I'm playing Rancid. He goes, yeah, I know who you are. I go, you know who I am? He goes, yeah, I like your stuff. And I go, thanks. I go, I really like your band. And he goes, oh yeah? He goes, tell me another song other than Ace of Spades. I'm like, Orgasmatron, Metropolis, Bomber.
Love me like a reptile.
You love me like a reptile, whatever. And he goes, okay, that's fine. I said, yeah. I go, you're one of my favorite bands.
That's good that you didn't freeze up.
No,
sometimes when you're meeting somebody and they say, oh,
but that was what he said to me. Tell me another song other than Ace of Spades. And I was like, okay. So then I said, well, I'm going to get Motorhead.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to get Motorhead tattooed on my chest because I have a Rose tattoo. I love Rose Tattoo, the band from Australia. We'll put Motorhead over here. And he goes, you better put AC/DC on your navel. I said, okay, I'll put AC/DC on my navel. And that was our first meeting. And that's from there. Like he was so rookie. He was so, they just dropped the beer. He was so gracious though. Like, so anytime that, they would come to town, I'd always get a message, is Lars coming? You know what I mean? And then he'd always make time. And then we'd be like the ones, the last two people in the Warfield.
Yeah.
We had some good times. And then one of the last times I seen him.
Were you ever tempted to do drugs with him?
No.
By that point you were done.
No, we would smoke cigarettes together. Yeah. He'd ask me if I want to drink. I said, I don't drink. He said, why? And I said, because I have an allergic reaction. And he said, why? And he said, what happens? I said, I break out in handcuffs. And he thought that was the funniest thing. He said, you don't have to drink with me then. He said, well, you smoke with me? And I said, yes, I'll smoke with you. And he would always have these like Korean Marlboros because he would get like the moody cigarettes. So we would share cigarettes. Moody, like they're like fake, like smuggled in, you know,
Gotcha.
like just knockoff cigarettes.
Yeah.
So, and we enjoyed each other's company, you know. So it was really cool the times that I had, you know, because we would like I said, we would talk about anything and everything. Nothing was sacred. Everything was laughable. There wasn't any PC moments. It was just two dudes, sometimes more people, you know, just laughing and enjoying each other.
Did you ever tour together?
No, but so here's what happened. So I go to see him at the Warfield. On some of their last shows we did that festival that's in like Chicago and Detroit. What's it called? Riot Fest. So they were supposed to play. I saw them at the Warfield, and he was pretty sick. Yeah. And then I heard that they had to take like a bunch of fluid out of his chest because he wanted to see me before the show, which I thought was kind of weird. And me and my buddy Chris Powerhouse, we were there, and we went down to see him, and he was sitting at the table, and they were playing with Saxon, and he kept looking at the clock, and he's like, "What time is it? What time is it?" And I was like, "This is weird. Let's get the fuck out of here because like this is not." Normally, it would always be after the show, never before, you know.
So more like celebratory.
Yeah. And so he was looking at the clock, and I was like, "Hey, okay, Lem, I'm gonna get out of here." No, you can sit down. What time do we play? And I said, "I think you go on in about 20 minutes." He goes, "Yeah, you guys better leave." And I go, "Okay, cool. See you later."
Do you think he was starting to?
I don't know.
Slow down up there.
I don't know. Yeah. So then I heard he got really sick. Then we were supposed to play with them in Denver, Rancid, and they had to cancel. Then we went to play with them in Chicago, and they played the day after us. So I went and saw them, hung out, blah, blah, blah. And then our tour kept going. Their tour kept going. We're going to meet each other again. We're going to meet each other again in Montreal. And so me and a few guys went and saw them in New York when they played with Anthrax at Jones Beach. So we saw them there again. So I saw them like 4 times in a month. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was kind of rad that the way it was all lined up, because in Montreal, like one thing that never really happened is after the show, I was in the back of the van. And so I'm with Lemmy's kind of guy. So I'm in the van with Mickey D and Phil Campbell and Lemmy and the driver guy. And they're talking about the show, and I'm just like sitting in the back, and I'm just like, yeah, this is cool. You know, like just they're talking about, well, we could have done that better, or this could have, might go through this better.
No shit. They would do that.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever fucking do that. Do you guys do that?
Oh yeah.
Do you like,
the
fucking,
well, you know, sometimes things don't work, you know?
Yeah.
So, but no, so I'm a fly on the wall on that. And then all of a sudden I was like, like that. And Phil Campbell goes, "Who the fuck is that?" I'm like, "Oh, hey, Phil, I'm Lars Frederiksen." He goes, "Oh, I know who you are, mate. You're a legend." And I'm like, yeah, like that's even more bizarre, you know? So, but I got to ride in the van during the band talk from the stage to
fucking
backstage.
Awesome.
So that was like a bigger deal to me than like actually knowing them.
And you're just like fly on the wall, hanging out, being quiet. I'm not interrupting this moment here.
No, because they're talking about like, oh, we could have done this.
I know, like sometimes it's just cool to just soak it in, right?
That's exactly what I was doing. You know, because I remember Ulrich was telling me about the time when they were writing a song and he was like in the studio with them.
He's got like the most insane fucking like 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Blags his way into like hanging out at the fucking Motorhead rehearsal space while they're writing.
I know.
Iron Fist and shit. And it's just like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, I couldn't have done that.
No, I know. I know.
I was too introverted at that age. Like I could have just never.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you could have done, maybe you could have done that.
Well, I don't know. I probably would have, I mean, I don't know. I could get into somebody's house pretty easy, but
that was different though.
Yeah.
Right?
But it was a different trip, you know? But no, I mean, Lars, you know, and I always think about Lars, like, you know, just talking about Motorhead, like I listened to Metallica and stuff, and I figured out kind of what and then it's just my opinion. And I actually brought it up to him. I said, dude, I feel like you're trying to do Filthy Phil to Metallica. Is that what you're trying to do? And he goes, yeah, somewhat, and because I hear him playing on Metallica records or see him play live, and he's doing Filthy Phil played to Motorhead not like Mickey D. Mickey D did it a totally completely different way.
Mm-hmm.
Filthy Phil like felt it, like the way that the song was moving. That's the way he went, and I feel like that's the way Lars does with Metallica. And I don't know, but it was nice to hear him say, "Yeah, I'm hugely influenced by him," and that's how the Motorhead story came up.
Right.
And so, because he's a great guy to talk with. He's a good storyteller.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's
I
he
really
gets
like
such
him.
a bad rap, and like,
Whatever,
the
dude.
fucking dudes.
You know what? People are jealous. It's probably what it is. I mean, anytime that you become like, think about what the guy did. The guy took on fucking Napster.
Yeah.
And guess what? He was right. He was right. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was fucking right.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, fucking millionaire rock star dick. No, fucking, how about the tech nerd that now owns the world, Facebook dick?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, who owns Facebook?
And all your data.
And all your data and takes your pic, fuck you, okay? Like, someone was actually right. And I couldn't believe. Anyways, it's besides the point. But no, all them dudes are fucking rad.
Yeah.
First of all.
Great
Some of the
people.
nicest, humblest dudes I've ever met in my entire life. Toured with them, 20 some odd years ago, obviously, and reunited with them just this year. Did a bunch of shows with them.
Mm-hmm.
Picked up where we
You
left
guys
off.
did Lollapalooza, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Did Lollapalooza in '96 with them, and then we just went down to
That
South
was
America with them.
Metallica,
Ramones, Soundgarden.
What a crazy bill.
I know.
You think
So
about
weird.
that now, like what a crazy bill.
Yeah, it was crazy. Super crazy.
And you guys hung out back then? You were hanging
Mostly with
Lars?
Newstead. Mostly
Okay.
with Newstead. Those guys, I think, flew in a lot of the times.
Mhm.
But down in South America, we were able to get out and get to dinner with them. Lars came to the show that we played in Buenos Aires at the club there. Forget what the name of the fucking club is, but it's probably one of the top 3 Rancid shows of all time.
Wow.
And it was so fucking hot, and literally I couldn't hear myself. I couldn't hear my monitors because the kids were 4,000 people singing your lyrics at the top of your lungs back at you. I couldn't even hear what was going on. I was purely going by instinct and memory.
That's rad.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a religious experience. I dare to say
Was
it's probably
Lars hanging out on the the side, and you're just like looking over
Yeah.
and just like,
it
check
was
this shit out.
yeah. Well, he literally came up to me and goes, "Dude, that was literally probably the one of the best rock and roll shows I've ever seen in my entire life." And I was like, "Wow, coming from you, because I know you've seen some shit."
He has, man.
So that was kind of a nice compliment.
What was your we'll end with this. What was
Okay.
was that van ride your final hang with Lemmy?
Sorry for the long pause. I'm trying to think. No, because Chicago was the last show that we did with them. And that was a really good night because he wasn't feeling so hot and he was playing on his poker machine. And I came in and we started, I just, because his assistant guy would say, go talk to him, cheer him up. He's kind of down. So I go in there and I felt I was being like a little bit of an invader because, he liked
Really?
his,
Even after all that time?
well, I mean, but he was
like
sick.
he didn't make you felt like that. Like
no,
you felt like that.
I felt like that. He didn't, I felt like that because, it's like you don't want to mess with the dude's time,
Yeah.
but but that's the thing. That's where I'm
But you
so
always kinda
idiotic.
like, you kind of like had that. You just
Yeah.
had this a little bit higher.
Dude,
Right?
listen, no matter how close we got, how many times, we texted or whatever the fuck it was, like he was still Lemmy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he was kind of, like you said, a father figure, a fucking friend, so many different levels, So, the last time I saw him, I had something for him, and he didn't want me to send it to him until he got home from tour. But I didn't get home from tour. So anyways, I sent it to him. I went to the this is the worst part. So I go to the post office, I send him the thing that I have, right? And I get the call.
You don't want to say what it is?
Is that?
You don't want to say what it is?
No.
Yeah.
And I get the call that he passed literally an hour after I left the post office. And that was a bum out.
Yeah. Because
I got asked to, I got invited to his birthday party, which was in early December.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah. So, and I didn't go because I had some shit I had to do with my kids. Wolfgang, my oldest, plays hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, my kids are really important.
Yeah.
And
it didn't seem like he was ever gonna die.
No.
Lemmy doesn't die.
No. But you see, he went out the way he wanted to go out.
Yeah.
Rock and roll, blaze of glory.
Totally.
So,
do you feel like you waited? Do you feel like you waited too long to go to the post office, or did you ever have those thoughts?
Yes.
Yeah.
But his girlfriend
he wanted you to send him something.
Yeah.
So you came into the dressing room to hang in Chicago, but he didn't want.
No. So it was after the show, and I guess he wasn't feeling so good.
Okay.
But his assistant said, "Go in there," and I was like, "Well, if he's not feeling so good," and he said, "No, it'll cheer him up. It'll cheer him up." So I go in there and we started talking, and then we started talking about this thing that I had that he would really like to enjoy.
Gotcha.
And I said, and he said, "I'll buy it from you." I said, "No, I'll send it to you. It's a gift."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "No, let me pay for it." I said, "No, it's a gift. You've given me enough." And he said, "Okay, but here's my address. Don't send it to me until this." I said, "Well, I'm not going to be home." He said, "Well, then wait till I get home."
Yeah.
And then I was out. Then we did some shit, and then blah blah blah. It just got to be the day 27th of December.
Yeah.
And it was a little too late. But his girlfriend.
And that was the last hang.
That was the
like
last
there was
hang.
no
That's it.
There was no amazing words to end or anything.
No, but all of his words were pretty amazing, bro.
I know, right?
You know what I mean? Like, just to be in I remember we talked about ZZ
It seems
Top.
like it's never like that. You know what I mean?
I
Like
know.
somebody passes away and you long for this moment, like, oh, and then the last thing that we said, or what I mean? Like, but it is so rarely.
Yeah, it never happens that
like
way.
that.
No. But he like I said, in my mind, I have these memories. The only thing that sucks is my kids really fucking love Motorhead, and I wish they could see them.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be a band they'd really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. But it's just, I saw that band on 4 different continents.
Right.
So, I got to see them enough.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty lucky for that.
Fuck yeah.
3 different continents.
And just to have formed a friendship.
Yeah.
That's probably.
Yeah, I mean,
getting to see Motorhead for free is fucking awesome.
That's pretty rad.
That's awesome enough right there.
Yeah. But I saw him in every kind of venue that you could possibly imagine. I saw him in stadiums. I saw him in clubs. I saw him in like mid-sized venues. I saw him in all kinds of different kinds of places. I saw him in Japan. I saw him in England a bunch of times. I saw him in Canada. I saw him in America. I saw him in Germany. I saw him in France. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Spain.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, I saw that band literally everywhere.
It's awesome.
And now Slayer has come that band for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's it.
Lars, thanks for being on the
Thank you, Rob.
Being on the podcast.
Fuck
man.
yeah, bro.
Fucking
My pleasure.
awesome. Great talking to you.
Great talking to
catching
you,
up.
too.
And best of luck with the Bastards.
Old from
The
Casuals.
Rancids.
The
Old from
Rancids.
Casuals. Oh, that's right. You don't do that. Do you do the Lars Frederiksen, the Bastards anymore?
No.
No, that's
No.
Old from Casuals.
Old from Casuals is my jam.
All right. Cool. All right, man.
All right, Lee.
No fucking regrets! With Rob Flynn.